617, Dan and Dan, AM Quad Cities at News Talk 1420, WOC. Ashley Holden from Quad Cities today at KWQC joining us this morning. Good morning to you, Ashley.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, just ready
to go.
We're doing
Great.
Monday morning.
I would say today was definitely that painful Monday wake up.
Yeah.
Like I heard my alarm go off and I was like, there's no way it's 1:20 yet. There's no way. And yep, it was 1:20.
1:20.
Wow.
I mean, you're one of the few people that I actually feel like that beat us up out of bed.
I know.
I mean, that's ridiculous, 1:20.
I know. Yeah, 1:20 because I have to get to work by like 2:30, 2:45, and usually my alarm, I hit snooze a couple times. So, yeah. Yeah, and I have to make myself look presentable.
Yeah. Thankfully, we don't. I mean, that's another thing that we got.
I'm sometimes jealous of you guys.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That was a big deciding factor when you're looking at what media to go into.
Radio.
And I watched these people, the reporters lugging in. Back then, they had those big camera stuff and all the tripods and everything. And they'd be in and have to set up and drag this stuff back and forth. And I just set up my microphone and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I go, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a lot easier.
Yeah, and before they had teams. Now I hear, this is like the number one thing I hear when I go out and I shoot my own stuff, which we call MMJing. That's what it's called, multimedia journalist.
Okay.
And I get it every single time, and it's kind of a joke among us reporters, is someone will be like, well, where's your camera guy? Where's your crew? And we all kind of laugh because that's kind of quickly becoming a thing of the past.
Yep.
Sometimes we get them, a very few rare occasions. I get lucky since I'm live in the morning. I usually get one, but usually when we shoot our stories, we edit, and we write them. When I told my aunt that, I think she about fell over. She was shocked that we do that. But yeah, we try to look good while we're doing it. We kind of make miracles happen.
I like this. We roll out of bed. We just, kind of stumble into the building, drink some coffee, and then come onto the air and do our job. We call that DANing.
Oh, there
That's
you
what
go.
we call that. That's our term.
That's
for it. Yes.
that's
Well,
true.
I have a friend who now actually is producing our morning show, and I'm always so jealous of her because she's like, yeah, I'm not on air. I don't have to put on all that makeup. And I'm like, I am sometimes so jealous of you.
Yeah. We sometimes do, but it's just because we like it.
Just
So,
because you like
Well,
it.
Dan puts on
Yeah.
the eyelashes. I'm still
Yeah.
not quite sure why. But
yeah, this makes me feel better on the radio.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about the ESMO lead teachers. Apparently, today's a big day. They're going to vote on their intent to strike today, it seems.
Yeah, and the district and the East Moline Education Association actually met last Friday, and they could not reach an agreement. So today they are back at the UAW, and they're going to meet here after school, and they're going to vote on an intent to strike. And this has been something that I know I've talked to you before about. The contract talks have been going on since April, and the Teachers Association says the main sticking point is compensation. So they met on Friday, like I said, and we got several releases actually from both the EMEA and the school district. And the district says the two were close on reaching an agreement late Friday, and they added that the 2-year difference on compensation is about $200,000 apart from each other. But we've been talking to a lot of people throughout this process, one of them being the superintendent of the East Moline School District, Kristen Humphreys, and he told KWQC just a couple of weeks ago the issue is money not coming in from the state of Illinois. And I think that's when I was talking to you just a couple of weeks ago about this and how unfortunate it is that this kind of budget crisis has been hitting these schools, and now they're at the point where they could strike.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you: if they vote to authorize a strike, does it go into effect 10 days from that point, or do they then have to, or can they hold off and then ask and say then it's 10 days?
That was kind of like, I was like, well, what does this mean? What does this mean for all those kids? And I'm sure parents are wondering that too. If approved, a strike date won't be set until February, and that's in order to meet state regulations. So even if it's approved today, we might be waiting a while to see when that strike date actually is set.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, there are state regulations for all of these things, and I'm sure, I think it's on the minds of many parents today, I'm sure, what's going to happen. I think I told you down around my area, I think a couple of years ago, they had some of the schools, the high schools, down in Southern Illinois, their teachers went on strike, and I remember my mom talking about it, and my brother wasn't impacted at all, but just kind of how hard it was for everyone in the community. Obviously, it's not the best. It's not what they want, but sometimes it happens.
Well, think about parents that all of a sudden have to find daycare for kids.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, though, too, that they just say, well, the teachers won't be paid while they're on strike. And that's technically true, but they always get the money back. I mean, it's always retroactively paid. And the other thing is, now this is the part that I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think of the downside of this. If you're the teacher, like, what would keep you from doing it?
Well, you may get the money later, but understand you still have to make your house payments and everything else.
I get all that.
And if you can't do that,
I get that.
Depending on how long this strike lasts, you run out of maybe some necessities.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe you have to work longer at the end of the year, right? So actually, that's not even required by the law either. They don't have to make up the days that they miss. Students don't have to make up the days they miss if it was caused by a strike. So just a couple of other interesting, tidbits about this here. So
and it is interesting to think like the students are probably, at first like, oh, we get out of school, but then they start missing things if it lasts long enough. So it's definitely. Yeah, and I'm sure parents would be impacted because when they I know when my parents went to work, they would drop me off at school, and that's what I did. And if I wasn't at school, I had to come to work with one of them. So they would kind of kind of battle over who would be taking the kids to work that day. And I'm sure if it was for more than a day, they might have not been doing so well after a little bit.
Well, the other thing, too, is that depending on when they would do this, I believe all sporting events, too, are done, like basketball, boys and girls basketball, and any other sorts of sports that are taking place.
Something else they got to keep in mind when
you can't do that. So.
Yeah, that's very true, too. So, all right.
Yeah, and that's hard on the students, definitely. You know, some of them practice and they definitely want to participate. So I think there'll definitely be a lot of things on the minds of the teachers today as they vote, and also the community of East Moline.
And when is that today? After school,
3 o'clock,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah, it's after school. We've been told by the EMEA it'll start at 3:45.
Okay, excellent. Ashley, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ashley.
Ashley Holden from Quad Cities Today at KWQC with us this morning. It is 6:25.